Now, let's revisit the ancient Italian town of Herculaneum, a town like Pompeii, totally destroyed by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD.
This morning I have traveled out to Herculano, site of the ancient town of Herculaneum, also buried in the 79 eruption. This town is to the west of the volcano, and much closer to it than is Pompeii. In the 1st century, Herculaneum was a prosperous resort town with a beautiful beach. The first eruption of August 24th barely touched the town. Only about 1 inch of ash and pumice hit the town. Most of the people chose to wait it out. But just as in Pompeii, the second eruption was cataclysmic. A pyroclastic flow over 700 degrees hot buried the town 25 feet deep. For the last 200 years, it was thought that the citizens of Herculaneum had escaped. But just a few years ago, while excavating some galleries near the ancient beachfront, hundreds of preserved skeletons were found, still clutching to their belongings. I'm inside now the atrium of a Roman villa here at Herculaneum. Down here is a small well type of thing called an impluvium, and rainwater was collected here. It was basically a cistern, and the rainwater came through a hole in the roof called the compluvium. It's a neat way to keep water. History tells us that Pliny the Elder, a famous Roman naturalist and commander of a Roman fleet, ran from his house to see the eruption taking place. He was never seen again. But his nephew, a lad of 17 years, wrote the only eyewitness account we have of the Vesuvius disaster. Pliny the Younger wrote,
"A cloud appeared of unusual size and shape. Hot ash and pumice fell on the people. They covered their heads with pillows, the only defense against a shower of stones. My mother begged me to escape in any way that I could. You could hear the shrieks of women, the moans of children, and the cries of men. A dark and terrible cloud, on fire from within, suddenly collapsed and fell upon everybody. Some cursed their fate, and others prayed to die."
Up until 1988, the remains of only 5 victims had ever been found. We see here the bones of a young lady in her early 20s and a younger boy. In 1988, many more skeletons were found near the ancient beach, so Herculaneum citizens were not as lucky as previously imagined. Herculaneum was smaller than Pompeii, only about 5,000 people, but it was much more upscale. It was a resort town for Roman war heroes and nobility, with great villas and opulent public baths. The modern city of Herculano is built on top of Herculaneum, and when this was discovered in the 18th century, treasure hunters dug vast tunnels into the ancient town to extract its treasures, and in so doing did much damage to the area as an archaeological site. As in Pompeii, the baths of Herculaneum are magnificent examples of the Roman ability to construct a facility which is at the same time functional and beautiful. The women's bathhouse is certainly one of the most impressive public buildings of the town. It has hot, tepid, and cold bathing rooms, where slaves would see to the needs and comfort of Herculaneum's women. And here's a place I probably really shouldn't be. This is inside the women's bathhouse, and this is a very generous size marble pool. Cool. I don't think I'm supposed to be in here, though. Since part of the floor has collapsed in this room, we have the opportunity to see how the place was heated. Under the tile floor, the Romans created large ducts where hot air from a central furnace would circulate. Amazing central heat 2,000 years ago. I'm standing at what would have been, in the old days, the jacuzzi or hot tub. This is a small area with a very deep pool for hot water. These Romans were amazing, weren't they?